What's up, bitches?
It's brunch time.
Welcome to another episode of Dead Bitches Brunch. We're your hosts. My name is Lindsay B, and with me, as always, is my partner in crime, Leah Pettibone. Folks will also be seeing on this episode from time to time, maybe some appearances of a clown, Bango Skank, our producer on the back there. So just, warning, clowns crossing. Is that a thing?
Clown caution.
Clown caution. Clowns will appear throughout this episode. But you guys aren't really just here to, hang out with us, which we do appreciate you guys coming in and kicking with us tonight. But we are here because we have a very awesome guest with us tonight. We have actor, producer, candle maker, Emily Sweet with us tonight. She has been in feature films of VHS 99, the biggest movie release premiere on Shudder ever. Also the remake of Castle Freak as well. So we're super stoked to talk to her tonight and everything that she has going on and working on coming out as well. So without further ado, Emily Sweet.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, thank you so much for coming to hang out with us tonight, Emily. We're so stoked to talk with you. When we first found you on Instagram, it was through your candle company, the Black Wax Company, and you make these stellar, wicked candles, and I absolutely adore you. Make these candles that look like actual human bone, which I think is gnarly, but amongst many other styles as well. And that's how we found you, was through that, and we hit you up a couple months ago to be on the show. And little did we know in doing our pre-interview call that you were just like one of the most badass dead bitches that we hadn't even had the chance, like we didn't even know what's out there. So the excitement is very real on our end. We're so stoked to have you on here tonight. But we want to start off the interview here talking about your candle company. When we're doing our pre-interview, you talked about you started this when there was a little bit of pause in your acting career because of the pandemic. So tell us a little bit, why candle making?
I love candles. I feel like candles, everyone loves candles. You go to anyone's house, anyone's apartment, everyone always has candles. And I am a huge horror fan. I've always loved anything related to horror. And whenever I've searched for horror candles, nothing wrong with these kind of candles, but it's just always been the same. It's been in a jar with like a horror label, and then that's it. I've never seen really, of course, I'm sure there's other companies that do similar things as myself, like shapes and things, but I just never been able to find ones that I really liked. And so, like you said, yes, during the pandemic, things and acting slowed down, and I was like, what else can I do that keeps me being creative, that it could do as a side income thing? And I just thought, I'm gonna try to do some candles, and I'm gonna try to find molds that I really like that I can't find, and do that. And so that's kind of how it was born.
Oh, awesome. I love the creativity. My partner and I, we had a similar thing during the pandemic. He started going full-time at Silberg Studios and mask making. And so it was just a great time for people to be pushed to a different level of creativity. And I love that. Here are some of my favorites that I pulled off of your Instagram on here. This is the spinal cord. And then this is the celestial keepsake, which also comes in red, and you can choose from different styles of the top part of the candle as well. What kind of wax do you use with your candles?
I started by just doing soy because I'm trying to be as earth conscious as possible. The thing that I found out, because again, I know candle making is such a science, which I didn't really know. I was very naive and was like, oh, you just melt the wax and then pour it in the things. And a lot more than that. It's like you have to let it cool to certain temperatures. If you're adding dyes or scents, it has to be certain temperatures, pour temperatures, this and that. So I learned a lot. And what I learned was, if you want those deep blacks or like deep reds, 100% soy won't give that to you. And so I'm doing a little bit of paraffin wax as well, on more lighter colors or just all white, it's strictly soy wax. But then, like for the darker ones, it's a blend of paraffin and soy. But then all the wicks are cotton, eco-friendly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, nice. BRB, guys. I have a crying puppy behind me. This is real time here, folks.
Well, so I wanted to say that the spinal cord and the bone, along with the tooth and the Starling sisters, are like, they're all amazing, but those are like my top favorites. And first of all, like, have mercy, they are too beautiful to burn. So
Okay, so this
it's basically you're selling wax home decor, because I could not make myself burn that if I wanted to. They're also beautiful though, and so perfect. But what I really love about everything that you do is that if you go over to the website and check out the candles individually, that they all tell a tale as well.
Yes. So first of all, just to go off what you said, it's so funny. I've had so many people be like, "Oh, I love these. I'm never burning it." I'm like, "No, please burn it. Like, burn it doesn't come back. Like, please." But I do appreciate that, people think they're like so pretty that they don't want to burn them. That's right. But yeah, so then, okay, so again, I'm a very creative person. I need to be always doing something. And again, I just love horror. Gosh, so much. It's like my favorite thing in the world is what I do. But I thought, okay, so now I have these candles, but what can I do to make it extra special? Or what can I do to make it more unique? And I thought by adding just like a story to the candles would just make it, I don't know, that much more special, And so when I send them out, I print off those little stories and, you get a whole bunch. You don't just get the candle, you get the story, to go along with it. And so, yeah, I thought it just made it a little extra special.
I love that. It's so unique because just reading them on the website, I was like, oh my gosh, so you came up with all those stories too.
We did, yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. I love it.
We tried to make them, sometimes they got really morbid. I was like, oh gosh, should I change this? I'm going to see if anyone says anything and we'll just keep it like this.
Right. No, I love it. I love everything about it. So basically, we just need to buy 2 of every one so we can burn one and then keep one.
Exactly. Yeah. They burn. It's funny. The owls are little, but I started making it. I mean, I've only launched this. It's very new at the end of December. So only a few months into the business. And again, all these things I'm learning as I'm going. And so I launched, and my sister and brother-in-law were like, well, how long do they burn for? And I was like, oh gosh, that's a great question. I need to know these things. And so like even the little ones, 2.5 hours, I mean, they have a really good burn time on them. So I was happy about that.
Yeah, good to know. Longer than a tea light, at least, right?
No, I'm excited. We're a big candle household here. Fun fact, one of the first Christmas gifts I got Bango Skank was a box full of candles because he liked candles so much. So I just went over the first few months of us dating, just collecting candles until I had a box full of candles for him. So we're excited for ours to come in. So folks, definitely check that out. That is the Black Wax Company, and you can find that on Instagram, as well as you can just search the blackwaxcompany.com as well. .net.
Yes.
.net. It'll take you right there. Well, speaking of a love of horror, you also have had an amazing acting career in our favorite genre that just inspires so much art that we love. And so that will bring us on to our next segment here, folks, Freshly Dead Films.
amazing. Hey, Emily, it's me.
Hi.
It's me, your friend Bango. Yeah, I'm here.
There you go.
Thank you for coming. These two don't let me out of my cage very often, but every once in a while I get to step in and help out a little bit. And since hearing of your arrival to the show and been going back through all the films, collecting some stats on the film, Joe Bob last drive-in totals kind of style.
Yes.
Do you know how many people you've killed? Just curious. It's a lot.
I mean, I can think of 4
Oh, not even close.
that I've killed. Oh my gosh, tell me.
Pretty sure. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Okay.
About to learn today.
So intrigued.
You shot Dewey, you shot a cop, you shot a preacher, you shot a bunch of people in the face. Okay, and I should just claim this is most of the horror films and the fun, video game one, and those. But there's a few of the earlier ones. I wasn't able to find your short films. I don't know how anybody gets to see those, but we were looking.
Yeah.
So I've put together this little skit. So we'll go through some of these numbers, and this is what you've done.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
The Dead Bitches drive-in totals for Emily Sweet. Oh.
So fascinating.
It's been 4 deaths. You died 4 times. That's you getting killed.
Yeah.
And I count your extra life in, Brancala. 10 kills from what I tried. You killed 10 people, right? You killed all of them in VHS 99.
You did.
Right? You killed all those pervy little kids.
That's right. They got one coming to them.
You pretty much shot everybody in the head in Carpe Diem.
I did.
And just blasting fools there. So that's fun. 8 breasts, of course, all yours, but
Yep.
those different times.
Man, 8 times. Wow. Okay.
1 Botox.
I've only got 1. Yep.
2 pregnancies. She's been pregnant in 2 flicks, y'all. She got to keep the baby in only 1 of them.
Yeah.
And 2 demonic transformations. I'm counting the VHS 99 Medusa and whatever the fuck happened in Desert Shadows.
Yeah. Wow.
4 sharks have been punched in their stupid faces to their exploding deaths.
That's right.
And 1 Sharknado destroyed. You destroyed it. Like that. I don't know what the big hubbub is, all the Sharknado stuff. They're making whole movies about it. That one, they're like, no, we're having a Sharknado. It's just going to be a few minutes. Emily's going to blow that motherfucker up, and we'll move on from the Sharknado, right? That face punching foo. Getting punched in your face, foo. And actual kung motherfucking foo. I don't know kung fu, she says. Right? 11 movies in 5 years? Is that right? That seems like a lot.
It is. Yes, plus a few more to come this year.
All right. Looking forward to hearing about that. 2 short films. Don't know how to find them. If there's a way, you're able to tell us. If not, but because you won 2 Best Actress awards for those at the short film festivals, right? Which very cool. Her premiere film, folks, she won a Best Actress award, which earns her 1 Dead Bitches Brunch Badass Bitch of the Year award.
Woo! Can't believe accept that.
And why? Ah! Cause look out! Spam! That's why. That's why.
Hilarious. Hilarious. Thanks, Bango. I learned more things about my own movies that I didn't even know, so thanks.
All right, Bango, you get 1 more question, and then you get the boot. So you better make it a good one.
Okay, so obviously I'm a huge fan of clowns, and so the Terrifier 2 and Art the Clown Terrifier is going to be a movie coming out wondering if you are a fan.
So I'm sorry. There's a shoosh noise.
Yeah, that's
What
a
about
second
Terrifier
one.
2? What about
But if there's a Terrifier 3,
oh, yeah.
how do we vote to get you? And would you be interested in being a part of that?
Yes.
And who can we harass to make it happen?
Well, I've already spoke with my manager and agent in effort to get me a read for it. So we're hoping. I'm hoping
Oh, no shit. Okay, I'm here for it.
Yeah, we'll see. That would be great. I love those movies. I went a few times in the theaters. You know what? Indie horror hardly ever comes to theaters, and so when it does, I'm out there to try to support. And I'm just such a gore hound, a gore fiend. I live for the gore, and how could you not love Terrifier 2? All that gore. So yeah, I would love to. I'm assuming if I were to ever get into Terrifier 3, I would probably die a horrible, horrible, horrific death, but like, bring it on. I'm here for it.
We would love to see it.
Yeah, thanks.
I've been working on some new
Okay.
art style
Yes.
masks. So, just clown faces over clown faces.
Bango, why do you love clowns so much?
To bring joy and laughter to the kids. and that's what it's about. It's about having fun, right?
Yes.
And doing it for the kids.
Always about the kids.
Clowns and Wu-Tang for the children, But I was talking to ChatGPT, those robots, and telling them I was building out the Bango Skank story. And then I was saying, what if he started a clown cult that was focused around bringing joy and humor to people? And they said if this existed in an alternate dimension, it would be a peaceful and loving and happy world where everyone's just laughing all the time.
I believe
so I think clownism is the secret to saving the world.
Okay, sure. You could be onto it, Who knows?
I mean, I'm still crazy. And it reminds me, it's like, hey, he's still a psychopathic clown, right? So, yeah. Fucking robots.
I have a feeling we're going to find out, though.
So, thank you again, spending the time. All those murders, getting murdered, just putting yourself out there. It's and such an impressive body of work in what I think is a short period of time. And watching from the Lost Level, Rancala through now Shudder and Castle Freak, and with what's happening there, and you built that anti-aging serum and Fear Farm that I'm sure you're using, sharing with Barbara Crampton because she looks fantastic still. So thank you again.
Thanks, Mango.
Although we can't smell you, but I'm assuming that you smell sort of like eucalyptus.
Well, it's funny because, I'm trying to maybe not use eucalyptus because that's what they use to make us into face creams.
Yeah.
I did not realize that I had killed that many people. I love that little tidbit.
Hell yeah, whether it's on screen or not. I was one of the questions that I was going to ask you was the first film that I watched was The Hostage House, and I was going to ask how it felt to be a pregnant gun-toting burglar with all the control. Like, who doesn't want to have all the control?
Oh, I love that movie. It was so fun. I mean, you have to lean into that movie, right? Like it, you know what you're watching. And I think a lot of people watch that movie and they're like, this movie is so stupid. Like, I don't understand. Like, but no, it's fun. Like, you're supposed to lean in and have fun. Like,
exactly.
That movie holds a special place in my heart. I love that movie.
Yes.
So it's really fun because I don't usually get to play the villain. Usually it's some girl next door or like sex something or other, sexy something or other, instead of play like a straight villain. And the director of that movie, when I was like, okay, so here's like I can maybe find some humanity here or maybe something here, he's like, no, you're just evil. I was like, oh, okay.
Right? No, that was gangsta. I loved it.
Thanks.
I can't hear you. Microphone. Mic check 1 2. I'm sending a message. Can't hear you. Okay. So
It still says you're muted. Your microphone has like a dash through it.
How about now, folks?
yes, you're back.
Hey, fun live shows.
I saw your lips moving. But I didn't hear your lips moving.
Lips.
All right. Well, one of my questions was in Fear Farm, you had played sort of a classic cheerleader, even having the cheerleader outfit on throughout the whole film. How do you feel about embracing that traditional horror trope in that film?
So Dante Yor, who wrote and directed it, he's one of my nearest and dearest friends. I just adore him. Met him on Fear Farm. He and his wife and the rest of that casting crew, which again is so special because we're still all like very good friends even to this day, which doesn't happen very often on movie sets. It's just you do your job and then you go home. So that movie is very, very special because we're all still such great friends. But what I love so much about Dante was he took all of those tropes on purpose, then was like, we're just gonna make fun of them. So they even say, like, when we're leaving to go to the corn maze, I go, can I stop and like change my clothes? And they're like, no, you have to wear that. And so like, just like, because it's stupid, because it's poking fun at all of the stereotypical classic cheerleader, whatever. And Melanie, played by Tiana Tuttle, she's like the badass, and then the guys are comedic relief, and then the airhead Houston,
Yeah.
friend, plays the airhead, and so I like that movie takes those tropes and just kind of makes fun of them.
Yeah, just kind
It
of
was cool. And it was cool how they addressed it too. Like, can I stop at home and change my clothes? And they're like, no, you have to wear that, because otherwise it would have been like, well, why did she wear that to the, who would wear that to a corn maze? So it was like addressed,
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that. And actually earlier when we were talking about the zombie show, I got picked to be a cheerleader. And I was like, I've never been a cheerleader in my life. But like when you get thrown into the role, it's like, hey, it's fun to be a cheerleader for this horror shit.
Because, again, in Fear Farm, all of us were actors. Like, our characters were actors. Rustin, played by Chris Leary, he, the joke is he got one commercial for no vaping or something like that. And so all of us are actors, and I had an audition. And oh my gosh, I was a cheerleader in 8th grade for like one season, and I that was the most hilarious thing in the world. I am not a cheerleader. And so during one of the scenes in the corn maze, I do like a cartwheel. That wasn't me being silly. Like, that was me really trying to like do a cartwheel. But again, because my character isn't she's not a cheerleader. She's just an actor who had an audition or something and went as this cheerleader. And then my friends were like, haha, no, you can't change. So yeah, I think Dante did a really good job of making fun at that.
No, that's fun. Piggybacking off of that, if you had a chance to play any final girl in a remake of your choosing, who would you choose?
Oh man, a final girl. That's a good one, because I am so hoping that they reimagine, remake Reanimator, because I want to be in Reanimator, and I would love to even be a female Herbert West, or just play Barbara Crampton's character. So a final girl, though, oh gosh, such a great question. I mean, I know that they are currently redoing Scream, but I would love, Ghostface is my favorite, and I would just love to be in a Scream movie.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That's
I could see that. You would be awesome in a Scream movie for sure.
Even just the one who gets killed at the very beginning. I don't mind.
Yeah, that's so iconic. Yeah, Drew Barrymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Mwah.
Yeah.
Kind of talking about Barbara Crampton. So she was in the original Castle Freak. You were in the remake. She was also in Reanimator, slew of other old classic horror movies. She was a producer. I might have repeated that here, folks. We have cocktails on the show. On the remake of Castle Freak. Did you get an opportunity to meet her at any time during that process?
Yes. Meeting your idol. She is so iconic. She is just as genuine and sweet and fun as her social media presence is. She is the best. So she was on set in Albania during the filming of Castle Freak, and so yeah, I got to spend almost every day with her that I was on set, and she was right there, right in Video Village, just kind of talking about us with our characters, and just we were able to go to her for anything that we needed to talk about, or questions about characters, or questions about the movie, or just talk to her in general about acting and her career and horror and all of that. I adore her. She is truly the best. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
There you are with Barbara Crampton on that would have been on set then at Castle Freak.
Yes.
Gosh, what an amazing experience to not only be in that remake, which was a gnarly remake, but then to have Barbara Crampton there as well, for you to have that much access to her. Like, what a mind-blowing experience and stuff. And especially since she was that girl.
Mm-hmm. Castle Freak was the original is one of my favorite movies, and so to be able to to be in they call it a reimagining just because it's so vastly different than the original, which it's supposed to be, and it always makes me giggle when people are like, this is nothing like the original, and we're like, well, it's not supposed to be. Like, it's a reimagining, and it's more set in H.P. Lovecraft's short story, The Outsiders. Like, it's much more focused on that than the original Castle Freak was, and so they are very different. And so I know some people love it, and other people are like, this is nothing like the original, which that's fine. It's not. That's totally valid. It's nothing like the original, but I think what we did is quite special. I know I've said that about everything, but I'm just genuinely happy to be in all the things that I've been in. So
no, you had cocaine on your tit, and it got bit off.
And
Castle Freak
legend.
Yes, when I was reading the script, I was like, oh my god, I get the nipple ripoff. Like, how lucky am I? But yeah, in the original, that scene is just like, oh my god.
Seriously. That's awesome, though, that you've had so much fun, not only, just behind the scenes of the films too, and it's been a great experience for you. So, I mean, I could imagine, like, at some point in people's careers, like, things could be sort of dreadful, but it sounds like you had really great experiences. And one of the things I wanted to ask you was, what was the set that you enjoyed the most? Like, just behind the scenes while you were working with other people or being able to spend time with other people, which set did you have the most fun on?
Well, I think probably Fear Farm, just because, again, all of us are still so close. Actually, that's funny. The people, or that ding that just went off a few seconds ago, was my friend David, who was the DP of Fear Farm. So, like, we are always still years later just constantly talking with one another. So that one, it was so special. And it's even a little bit more special now because Houston Stevenson, who played my boyfriend, passed away last year. And so it just, looking back on it, it's a little bit I keep saying special, like it's a broken record, but that's the only way I know how to explain it.
It's sentimental.
And and so, that one, Dante gave us the ability and the room to just make a lot of things up, where I think we all appreciated that too. He didn't, some writers and directors, which is totally fine, are very precious about their scripts, which is fine. They wrote it. I totally get why they would be like that. But Dante was not. He was like, if you want to try something, try something. Like, this is a fun comedy. Like, this is over the top. This is silly. Like, do something, whatever you want. Just make it fun. And so we bonded a lot that way as well, just because we had that freedom to kind of explore and do things. And we're all just still very, very close. And so probably Fear Farm. And also because that corn maze is the largest corn maze in the United States. So it was interesting filming in an actual corn maze where we had to have a map and be like, wait, how do we get to set where get there? Like, this maze is so easy to go.
Like, where do I find the clowns?
Filming was extended by an extra month because part of the crew was lost in the maze.
But also, Castle Freak was amazing because we shot in Albania and we shot in a real 3rd century castle. So when can you say that you've been to a 3rd century castle? I mean, like that experience, just to be able to work with Fangoria and Barbara and do, remake Castle Freak, reimagine Castle Freak in this stunning castle. Someone said, one of the producers, Justin Martell, made me laugh. He said that he saw a comment. Someone wrote, "Oh, that castle looks so fake. They couldn't even like film in a real castle. Oh, what a low budget movie." And Justin was like, "It was a real castle." What do you mean?
Loser.
But I'll admit, there was at times that I was questioning that. I'm like, it looks so good that I was thinking that at times, like, well, maybe there are some sets that are fake just because it looked so good. But no, it looked so good because it was actually real.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you hear a rumor of this, that actors will sometimes keep props from films. So, is there a favorite prop that just maybe ended up back home with you? It's a nice little keepsake.
Yes. So I have kept in Castle Freak. I have like a jean denim book bag. I kept that, and I take that everywhere with me. That has been everywhere. I never leave home without it. I go to the movies with that bag. I travel with that bag. Airplanes on that bag. So that one. And then this movie hasn't come out yet, but in a movie that I shot in Serbia with the producers of Joe Bob Brick, the drive-in. So those people, we did a movie in Serbia.
Nice.
And I had a little watch ring, and I kept the watch ring.
So I want to know, is the Necronomicon book inside the backpack that you carry around?
I'm not that dumb. No. No, I would have loved to have kept that. That was, they said they, hired an artist to make that, and that was just like, they made it this beautiful Necronomicon. Like every page had something in it. It's fantastic.
No, that's
How
awesome.
did you get to keep that?
That one's stored for safekeeping on there.
Yeah.
So you've also been in some pretty gnarly creature features. What has been one of your favorite monsters to star alongside?
Well, I think that's hard. Probably VHS, just because it comes from such a long line of creepy, gnarly monsters.
Mhm.
And I thought our VHS installment had some pretty good ones. Not even me. I mean, I thought mine was great, but like there was a lot of just fun, gooey zombies and faces being melted off in hours, and then me there trying to get my head cast for Medusa. I thought ours was good. We were up for a chainsaw award too, so I'm hoping that we win that because they're very talented. It was Patrick McGee in at his studio and a bunch of his fellow effects artists, and they're so talented. I think, oh my gosh, this is a broken record. If you ever heard me do an interview before, I say this in every single interview, but I'm going to repeat it because it's true, that special effects, it's an art form. It's so, I think it just gets dismissed. I don't know why there's not an Oscar category for it. I know that the industry outside of horror, doesn't really look at horror in a serious way, which I think is sad, but there is so many talented people in practical effects, in gore, and special effects. I don't know why that's not a category.
Mm-hmm. No, agreed. It's an amazing art form and stuff, and just what people can do. And most films too that everybody go to, the classics or even new films that are coming out, it's the practical effects in them that are the parts that everybody just loves.
Yes. Like the new Evil Dead Rise that's coming out, that Red Band trailer, I was like, oh my gosh, give me more. Yes. People's scalps being ripped off and glass down their throats and all these. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, and I even wondered, and I loved the surprise of Medusa, because Medusa is like my favorite mythological monster. Like I can't even count how many times I've like obsessed over Medusa in my life. But I wondered if that was still you during like the special effects, and then it wasn't until like seeing the backstage photos and things like that I actually knew. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome that it was actually taken to that extreme versus just putting like a something computer generated.
Right. I mean, they had to make the snakes, they animated the snakes, but I didn't have, so, as you showed some pictures, like it was all, yes, layer by layer by layer. And then there was that headpiece of just the snakes that they did. But yeah, this took 6.5 hours to put on, like 3.5 hours to take off. It was a very long day, but well worth it.
Definitely.
Yeah, they did a great job.
No, it was epic. It was a top-notch Medusa and stuff. So no, it was gnarly. And it was funny because we had just recently watched VHS 99. So then when we first spoke to you and we didn't know like that you were an actress or been in any of these films, and you're like, I'm an actress. I'm like, okay, yeah, send us some of your stuff. We'll talk about something. And I said, I'm like, holy shit.
You're fucking Medusa.
It was very fun. Those teeth, I gotta tell you, those teeth are my favorite things. I wish I could have kept those teeth. I couldn't, but which is funny because they're molded to my mouth. But that's fun. Like they are disgusting in the most amazing way. Like look at those teeth.
Yeah,
they are.
No, it's gnarly. How good could you see out of those contacts?
They were not contacts, so very difficult. Very difficult. The black thing, the black strip, that's all you could see out of it. It was like a plastic, almost like a ping pong ball cut in half. It wasn't, but that's how I can best describe it. And it just popped into those sockets.
Okay.
So I could only see out of that tiny little black slit. It was very difficult to see.
Yeah.
Yes, and my ears were covered, so it was also very difficult to hear. So thank you for the people on set that like, okay, and just we're gonna walk you to where you need to go. We're gonna do all these things. So they were very helpful. Thank goodness for them.
Yeah, that's got to be a totally different thing. Have you ever been in that much creature makeup before on a film?
Yes and no. So for Desert Shadows, I mean, this, I guess movie's out, so sorry if it's a spoiler for those who haven't seen it. But like I get scratched by this alien monster, and then throughout the movie I slowly turn. And I had some prosthetics on around. You can't really see them, kind of can see them maybe in the movie just because I was airbrushed with veins, and that took about 8 hours to do. So longer than Medusa, but it was just a ton of airbrush and then blood. So I kind of, not necessarily like layer upon layer of prosthetics and this and that and this and that. Some prosthetics, a shit ton of airbrushing and like detailed makeup, and then my bald cap with like a little bit of the wig, and then just like goo and blood.
How many takes did they make you do with all of that on you?
So I always wish for more takes, right? You always wish for more. Oh yeah, there it is.
There it is.
So this was one that we're seeing right now was one take, and then Medusa was also one take.
Oh wow!
Yes, so a lot of pressure. And so then it's funny because when you do only have one take, it's like, oh gosh, you gotta get it right, you gotta get it right, you gotta get it right. You can't mess up, you can't miss, any of your cues, you can't miss any of these things. Like you just have to be on, and like your nerves, you're so nervous that I wish that I had more takes. But again, for Desert Shadows, it was April in the desert at midnight by the time we shot that, because it took about 8 hours to put on. It was freezing, and so standing all day in a warehouse naked getting airbrushed with no heat, like you're freezing, right? And so health concerns step in, take precedence there. And so by the time you get to film, like we only had one take. And then similarly with VHS, there was a minor on set, and so we only had a specific amount of time, and then just the makeup takes so long, so we only had one take.
No pressure, but you absolutely nailed it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
With the VHS movies, they've always had a pretty eclectic mix of directors. If you could pick any dream director to work with, who would it be and why?
I'm going to exclude who I've already worked with because he is West, and I was very happy to work with him. I would love to work with Ty West.
Okay. And why Ty West?
Because I love Pearl. I love X. I'm excited for Maxine to come out. And I think that I love that he came from the indie world and now is like doing these great big things. And I think that's very exciting for it's what's the word I'm looking for? Oh gosh, on the spot now I can't think of the word.
Like a fresh take on the genre?
No, it's I can look up to that. Gosh, it really sounds so stupid that I don't even know what word I'm looking for. But it's inspiring. Sorry, that's the word I'm looking for. Inspiring. So he did VHS and now he's working for A24. Like I think that's just very inspiring, and it makes me excited and happy that that you can. I love indie movies. I'm not bashing indie movies in the slightest. Love them. But it's nice to see that they're getting recognized and people do these indie movies like VHS, whatever, Castle, whatever, if you classify those as indie, then go on to do like bigger things. Because again, I think in the industry, horror, it's like The Ugly Stepchild, sadly. Us who love horror think it's the best thing in the world and can't live without it. But people who don't like horror or don't really understand it or are scared, it kind of just like gets the back end. And it's like, there's so much amazing things about horror. And the stories go so much further than just slasher, girl with the boobs, this and that. Like, there's so many metaphors and just wonderful stories to be told about conquering fears, especially for women in horror. I think there's a lot, like Final Girls, there's just like a lot to love and to learn from it, and it's more than just what I said.
Yeah. Well, obviously at this point you've proven that you can fulfill your roles as playing such a variety of different characters too.
Thanks. I appreciate that. It's funny, I'll watch some actors that I love, and I'll be like, wow, they do the same thing over and over again, but they do it so well. And I always think, I wonder if that's me. Do I play every character the same exact way? Like, it's hard for me to be objective. I'm like, do I do that? But I guess if people keep casting me, that's okay.
Well, I was wondering, what's your favorite character that you've portrayed?
Oh, what a good question. I can talk a little bit about it, but the movie's not out yet. So this movie is called Eight Eyes with some of the producers of Joe Bob Briggs. That character I love because I don't know how much I can say since it's not out. I don't know how much I can talk about it. There's just a very good character arc there. It comes full circle, and that character is put through a ton of things. So trying to survive those things. I can't say anything else, but
so we'll stay tuned. We'll have to have you back after that movie premiere.
But I think there's something great about, I try to, okay, so for instance with, we'll take Castle Freak since we can talk about that. That character is a new character. She wasn't in the original Castle Freak. So I like to try to, reading that, Kathy Charles wrote the script, and I thought she did a great job. I love that movie. I love the script. When I first read it, I thought, oh, okay, Shelly is just like, she's here to get nude and to die a horrific death. And I was like, but she can be more than that. Like, Shelly's just misunderstood. Shelly's misunderstood. She's not like trying to take, Rebecca's man. Like, they had a thing, and just like trying to bring a lot more to, what I first read. But then again, working with Barbara, working with Tate, the director, we found like all these really wonderful little tidbits to add to the character. And again, I'm not saying Kathy Charles didn't do a good job writing the character. I thought she did a great job. I love the character. But I also try to just go as deep as I can to find something. And it was fun to play. I mean, Shelly, she's like one of the guys. She's fun. she's kind of a bitch, and I like that.
Mhm.
So she was fun to play. It was really fun to play Natalie in Hostage House because, again, she's just like straight evil. There's a movie I did that's not out yet, but coming out this year with Paula Abdul and Eddie Griffin called Savage Midlife, and I played the villain in that. But that is like such an over-the-top slapstick comedy, and I have never done that before. It's always been, set in some kind of real realm, and Savage Midlife is just like very kooky and very silly. But that was really fun to play because that was another villain, but just played so completely differently than, say, Shelly or Natalie.
We are definitely looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're like jotting these things down.
All of the above. We're going to be adding to your stats.
Bengal will have new drive-in totals.
Yep.
We pulled this off of your Twitter, your cosplay as Pinhead, which is amazing. Did you work with some people on this? Like, how did this look?
No, I made that. Okay, so this is so funny. Every year I throw a giant Halloween party. I start working on it in January with my friend Guthrie, who does a lot of score, composing, Foley, and movies, a lot of horror movies. We actually met on a horror movie set and became very fast friends. And so, yeah, every year I throw, because, Halloween's the best day of the year. It's better than Christmas. It's better than birthdays. Like, it's the best. So,
that's true.
So every year I rent a venue and it's a different theme. Last year's theme was Welcome to Hell, Razor, in parentheses. And the year before that was like a carnival freak show or something. And so I spent all year planning with my friend Guthrie, and I wanted to be Pinhead. And I was actually trying to be Pinhead a few years ago, but then the pandemic hit, and then, all these things happened. So like, wasn't throwing a Halloween party during 2020, 2021. It just, I did a different theme 2021. And so last year I was like, okay, we're gonna do it. So no, we the Halloween party always has interactive games, sets, facades, props, has performers. And so that was just from the venue at my Halloween party.
Like, I just wanted to raise some hell.
Yeah, I just want to raise some hell. So no, my mom helped me with the initial. She like made the initial suit, and then I sewed on like all the ribbings and all the other pieces that went along to it, and then I made the headpiece. And yeah, I don't know.
Amazing.
So good.
Thank you.
So being a fan of horror and being a fan of like gnarly horror and stuff, like, I mean, you can't get nothing better than a good kill scene.
That's right.
So there's a lot of wild deaths in horror history: freezing, decapitation, exploding. If you can pick any classic death scene in a horror movie that you would have the opportunity to do, what would you pick?
I would. Oh, great one. My family, they hate me watching me die. There, I was like, it's so horrific, but I would want to be like torn limb from like almost Cannibal Holocaust style or something, just like gutted, guts ripped out, peeling off, arms ripped off, and just like bleeding out of every orifice of my body, and just
the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, the kill scene that doesn't end.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah, something brutal like that, impaled and just like then still alive during all of it. Oh, why?
You're like, why not?
Right. You know what? If you weren't so busy, you'd have to be the third dead bitch because
I love it.
What is your favorite horror movie?
Oh gosh, that's such a hard question because there's so many. I used to say that it was High Tension because that was the only movie that has ever scared me. Not trying to be like, oh, no movie ever scares me, but that truly was like the only movie that ever scared me. And it wasn't while I was watching it. While I was watching, I was like, oh, interesting. Oh, okay. Well, that was what a great movie. Oh, the kills are great. It's super bloody. It's very gory. What a great story. Oh, the twist. And I wasn't scared during it, but after everyone left my house and I was in bed, I remember just like that man. Have you ever seen High Tension?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I won't give anything away, but like that man's face, just like every time I shut my eyes, his face was right there, and I couldn't get him out of my head, and that's terrifying me.
I totally feel that because I actually have like, this is embarrassing, but like in my phone notes, I have a note that's movies that actually scared me. So it's things that like typically, you know, even just watching the movie, you're not scared. And then later that night, it's like time for bed. And then you might be thinking about that shit and be like, oh my fucking God, I have to keep like a light on tonight.
Yeah. So say what you will about High Tension. I know it hasn't necessarily aged as well as it maybe when it first came out, but I still like it. It's a fun rewatch. But I love that. Reanimator is one of my favorite horror movies. I love. This isn't necessarily. It used to be billed as a horror movie. I don't know if it still is. It's not technically a horror, but it is. Come to Daddy with Elijah Wood.
Okay.
That movie, it's definitely a fantastic watch. I love that one. I like Martyrs a lot, the French one. I just like love really gory, disturbing movies. So those are so like on a rotation though, I think. Like I love Barbarian that just came out. I love that movie. Fantastic. Yeah. So I guess I'll still go with High Tension, but it might be slowly falling into second place. I just don't know what's going to take first place yet.
That's a good collection, though.
Yeah. I do love the classics. Like anything Full Moon, Castle Freak, Reanimator, From Beyond, like all of those movies, Subspecies, which they just came out with a new one. I think the premiere was yesterday. Any of the, like I love the cheesy, campy horror, but then I love like High Tension and Martyrs, and you're just like, oh God, that's kind of disturbing.
Yes. The more disturbing, the better, I mean, in my opinion.
And it's funny because, again, I'm not trying to be like, oh, nothing scares me, nothing is disturbing. But do you find that I feel like here's High Tension. Oh gosh, what a great movie. When you see and love horror so much, nothing really disturbs you anymore. Nothing really scares you anymore just because you've seen it all. And if you love the gore and the horror and practical effects, you're almost looking at it like under a microscope, like, wow, how do they do that? What an interesting, wow, that gag looks so good. How do they pull that off? And so you're looking at it with a different eye. And so some things that are very disturbing just don't hit you the same way or aren't disturbing to you because you're desensitized to it.
Yeah.
I'll give a movie props if I can get like a jump scare at this point. So if I get a jump scare, I'm like, okay, that was good, because usually I'm just like, whatever, or like, I might have the TV down so low that I'm like basically reading the subtitles as I'm watching the movie or whatever. But I was scanning through Shudder the other night, and we've been watching your films and things like that, and I came across The Taking of Deborah Logan. Have you ever seen that?
I have.
I got in my phone and added that to my films that actually scared me category, because the part when her jaw is extended and she's eating the kid's head, like, I'm saying I fucking thought about that for like 3 days.
Yes, I know. That's like what it is jarring. You're just like, oh my God.
Yes, it was like just that part alone. I was like, okay, this movie's fucking scary. And like, I have a 14-year-old kid, and he sees, well, what are you guys watching? And then the next night I'm like, don't watch that, because I don't want you staying up all night thinking about that jaw and the kid's head like inside of it. And yeah.
No,
it was good.
It was good. I also like horror movies that move you. Like I thought Come to Daddy, I like that movie so much because it was moving. And The Orphanage, Guillermo del Toro's The Orphanage, I don't know if you've seen that. But like the ending of that movie, I was like, oh my God. So horror movies that also are, that are, I don't know, that I keep saying that are moving, but I like movies like that too. Horror movies like that.
It's like Texas Chainsaw Man. It's House of a Thousand Corpses. I was getting confused there. It's about family.
Yeah.
You're just rooting for those fireflies the whole way through.
Yeah.
I love movies like that too, where you do root for the villain. Like you always know. Someone asked me once in an interview forever ago, like, oh, what villain, what monster, what, whatever slasher would you not want to go up against? And I always say the Firefly family because they never lose. They always win.
Yep. Yep.
They're
And
brutal.
I feel like Fear Farm kind of had that like Firefly family, Texas Chainsaw vibe. They were all in it together, and I love that. So
they do that for their mom, for the wife, for the mom, like
Right.
honor the mom.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know there was a sequel to Fear Farm, and there was a third one that was greenlit, but then COVID hit, and I don't know if that one will ever be made, but it would have been a good ending to what Dante created. We'll see if that ever comes out.
...
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, any upcoming projects that you can speak about to let us know to keep an eye out for, or anything exciting with the Black Wax company as well?
Yeah, so as far as movies go, a few things I can't talk about, but hopefully come soon. And then, so Eight Eyes, that's the one we did in Serbia with the producers of Joe Bob Briggs. I'm very excited for that. We shot that movie all on location in and around Serbia on film. That was the first movie I've ever shot on film, 16 millimeter, which I think is very cool. That should be coming out this year, I think. And then the other one's that slapstick comedy with Paula Abdul and Eddie Griffin called Savage Midlife. The other ones I can't discuss at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, you guys continued.
Yeah, to be continued. So make sure you are following Emily online.
Yeah.
You can find her amazing candles at theblackwax.net.
Just the thing about that, I'm moving. So if you put in an order, thank you. I really appreciate it. But it just might take a tad longer to get to you until I'm moved and unpacked. But I'm happy to reiterate that if people want to buy.
Well, Emily, it has been amazing getting to hang out with you here tonight. Thank you for coming and hanging out with the Dead Bitches, and for being the first recipient of, I guess, the Dead Bitches Award as well. So congratulations.
Yes, punch in the
shark in the face.
So a fun fact, that scene with the creator, the guy in the yellow fisherman outfit, he's the creator of Sharknado. Anthony Anthony
F.
Yeah, but he was the creator of Sharknado. So a little bit there.
That's awesome. Well, we are so happy to have crowned you the MVDB, most valuable dead bitch that we've ever had on. So congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
No. Well, folks, you can check out VHS 99 on Shudder as well. If you just look up Emily Sweet, all of her films pop up there for you to be able to view. We've been on a whole Emily Sweet marathon this week, so check them out. You won't be disappointed. And little fun fact, the steelbook for VHS 99 is coming out for sale May 23rd. In Walmart. So
nice.
Mark your calendars, get some. So maybe we'll see Emily at some future cons or something, and you can get your DVD signed. You never know. And then if you see the petition coming out for Emily to be on the next Terrifier,
yes.
Put your name down.
Yeah.
Reanimator as well. Just be like, Barbara. Barbara.
I love it. Thanks so much for having me on. Tell your clown Cage in the back. Thank you as well.
We'll let the crazy clown know. Thank you, everybody who has tuned in tonight for Dead Bitches Brunch. We appreciate everybody's support and following us online and on YouTube. Give us a follow if you haven't already. And stay tuned. We'll be coming out with more killer episodes. Oh, what do we have here?
Thank you, Emily. This is my effects. I made my own head, so.
Love it.
We didn't hear the squelching.
Sorry. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody. Stay dead.